Hey, y'all. This is Kara.
What?
I was looking at your name.
What just happened?
Hey, y'all, this is Jeff. I got anything you need.
Jeff.
Did I take some ashwagandha?
I think you just had some ashwagandha.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this is your Bloody Happy Hour. Caroline, are you ready for this? This is your newest guilty pleasure. It's the bloodiest part of your week. Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey, y'all. This is April.
I think this is Caroline. Not sure. We're trying to figure it out.
Oh, and this is your Bloody Happy Hour Quickie edition. We're back for a new episode.
We're back and we're refreshed and we're rejuvenized and we're ready to go.
Did you enjoy your break?
Mm-hmm.
Did you take a break? A little bit?
Yeah.
You've had a break.
Yeah.
I did no true crime over this break.
Like you didn't watch any?
Nothing. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't watch anybody get killed. I didn't. You know what I binged?
What?
Will and Grace. I started Will and Grace from the beginning, season 1.
Okay, I love Will and Grace.
The original Karen, and I was like, why would they taint? Like, this is the original Karen that's nothing like the Karen. And then I was like, you know what? This was out in the 90s and early 2000s, and we were such toughies that they talked shit about everybody. And you know what we didn't do? Cry or cancel them or write a letter or do whatever. And I just need them to bring all these episodes back just so you can see how much people would cry.
Oh, yeah, they won't. It's too offensive.
It is the best way. I love it. Anyways, so I've watched it waking up in the morning, going to bed at night. I'll watch it while I'm working during the day. It has been great. So, you know what I've been drinking? Karen Walker's favorite is gin and tonic and wine. Yeah.
Well, I love that show. And also, I almost started to watch Roseanne again.
Okay.
Because she was, she is at like the Joe Rogan's.
Yeah. Because you went and saw her lately.
Yeah. Well, I saw her.
She was canceled.
She was canceled, and she did this whole other interview recently, and she just was talking about her whole canceled experience, and
might as well talk about it.
She wasn't like really crazy and out of control. Like, I don't know. I kind of felt bad for her. But I mean, it's like Roseanne.
It's Roseanne. Everybody says shit at some point. Dave Chappelle's coming out about how when he was almost canceled for just shit that he says, and it's comedy, and how you just can't say comedic things anymore because...
I think they're starting to say it again. I think they're slowly coming back.
Yeah, do it.
But what I did watch was Love and Death.
Hip hop. Oh.
Life and Death, the Candy Montgomery.
Oh, I thought
the
you were going to say
Candy
Notorious
Montgomery.
Big.
No, the HBO series that just came out.
Was it good?
Yeah, so it's they release an episode a week, and it was released about a month ago. So I think there's one more episode left that I haven't watched that's maybe about to come out or hasn't come yet.
Is this the one with the girl with American Horror Story? That played on American Horror Story?
Yes,
she's playing Candy?
She plays Betty. Elizabeth Olsen, who is the Olsen twins' sister.
Which is who?
Elizabeth Olsen. I think she was like in a superhero movie.
Oh, she's not anybody that we would...
Yeah, you would notice her. You'd recognize her.
Oh, okay.
But she is, she plays Candy.
Okay.
And I liked this one better.
Better than...
I did.
Jessica or Jennifer, whatever her name is?
Yeah, I liked it better than Hulu.
I'll watch it when they all come out so I can watch it.
I mean, they're
So I
pretty
don't have
much
to wait.
out. Elizabeth Olsen. So it was really good. It was really good, and I would say to go. It's just like the book. It's just like the book.
Speaking of candy, if you haven't gotten there yet, we re-released Candy for that week off. So if you haven't heard that episode, you don't have to go backwards because it came out for our Tuesday episode.
Yes, that was a
good episode. It was actually our most popular episode that we've released. Last time I looked, that Bloody Happy Hour has put out. Candy freaking Montgomery, little old Fort Worth girl, most popular episode.
Well, what's going on in the news? Because I know there's been a lot of things happening. So which one are we talking about?
So first off, Caroline, are you sad that you're not going to Moscow in June?
I know, the preliminaries canceled.
Yes. So Bryan Kohberger, he was indicted by a secret grand jury.
Mm-hmm.
Secret. And it's supposed to be arraigned on May 22nd. So yesterday, by the time you hear this. And so because of that, there's no need for June preliminary hearing. So what they did at that grand jury is they presented all their evidence, and that grand jury just said, oh, there's enough to not do a preliminary. Let's go straight to trial. And so they're skipping that step, going to trial, assuming he's going to plead not guilty. And so grand jury means it's not going to be public.
Correct.
And so I was thinking, it's going to be a big thing like the Murdaugh, but it's probably going to be more like the one that just finished. What's the girl's name? Daybell, where you'll hear it kind of after the fact or as it's going, but you can't see it.
We don't know yet. I mean, they
the
did
trial.
Well, we don't know. We really don't know yet. What they released so far was that they will have audio, they will have visual. They did not confirm if it would be live or delayed. But most likely from what we know so far, it will be on a delay. But, I mean, we don't. That may change. Who knows?
Okay.
But on yesterday, they're going to address, I think, 3 different hearings kind of in one.
Uh-huh.
And they'll determine, like, what is his arraignment. So if he pleads guilty or not guilty, they'll decide the gag order because now they've moved it to a different court.
Uh-huh.
And they have a new judge. Judge is the judge.
Judge.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they were talking about how they didn't want it public because they don't want like the jury tainted, and this is just such a big trial, and we already know what Facebook forums and what the media can do to cases like this. I'm on a Bryan Kohberger's innocent page just because I'm nosy.
Yeah.
And people are crazy obsessed with the fact that he could be innocent. And there's all these, I don't even entertain it by like digging deep in there, but there's a group of people, a lot of people that think that he is innocent and that are blaming, of course, like the roommates.
The roommate, yeah.
But it's good for that one roommate that was going to have to go and
so most likely
testify,
the defense is still gonna question her, but at least what the preliminary hearing gets rid of is these people having to come and testify in front of him if he is the killer and they've seen him. It kind of takes that away because they do the grand jury. It's without the defense at all, which I just kind of learned that yesterday. I didn't really know what the grand jury was. I knew it was a secret jury hearing. I didn't know how it all worked.
And now a word from our sponsors.
All right, if you love smoothies or if you love your protein in the morning, you need to get you a Blend Jet. You can do that if going to blendjet.com. If you enter the code BHH12, you get a discount. And let me tell you, these things are portable. They are easy to use. They can fit in your cup holder. You can have it at home or you can have it in your office like I do. Right this morning, I had my blueberry banana one.
How was
with
it?
some chia seed.
Wasn't chunky or anything?
It was very smooth. When I have it in my shaker, it is a little chunky. So this is a great alternative.
I love it.
It is battery powered, so all you have to do is plug it in every 2 weeks, and the battery never runs down.
Oh my gosh. I love battery powered things.
Go to BlendJets and order you a BlendJet and get a discount.
Thanks, April, for sharing.
Did you know you could be putting oil and chemicals in your coffee? I love coffee creamer, but I don't think I've ever turned the bottle around to actually see what's inside. When I did, I found out many of my favorite creamers contain ingredients I would never intentionally add to my coffee cup, like canola oil, dipotassium phosphate, ew, and artificial flavors. Laird Superfood all started when big wave surfer Laird Hamilton needed morning fuel that could allow him to spend the entire day chasing the ultimate wave. He couldn't find anything in the market that met his ingredient standards, so made himself the ultimate plant-based creamer. Laird Superfood started and launched its first product, Original Superfood Creamer, in 2015. Laird Superfoods contain no artificial flavors, colors, or additives, and no sugars from highly refined corn syrup. All Laird products are sustainably sourced and thoroughly tested to ensure that you're incorporating the cleanest, finest fuel into your routine. All Laird products are also made of all-natural whole food ingredients, and they are crafted from the highest quality all-natural real food ingredients. Are you ready to feel more energized, focused, and supported? Go to lairdsuperfood.com and add nourishing plant-based foods to fuel you from sunrise to sunset. Use our promo code BOO at checkout to save 15% off your purchase today.
Cure Hydration. If you are obsessed with your hydration like I am, this may be something good for you. This is something that is so easy. Forget about the Gatorade. That just dehydrates you even more. And if you don't like the taste of coconut water, try Cure Hydration. You can go to my offer link. It is zen.ai/BHH20. This is vegan. It's no added sugars. It's just a little packet you could put in your water. Or if you're really smart during happy hour, you could put it into your Tito's. It is just as effective as an IV drip. And if you do not like the taste of water, it's not as boring as water, not as sugary as the sports drink. And if you're an athlete, it'll give you the best performance. Or if you just get brain fog or headaches because you do not stay hydrated.
Brain frog?
Brain fog. The solution is Cure Hydration. So go to that link, enter the code. You can go to my offer link. It is zen.ai/BHH20. Cure Hydration.
I'm your puzzle loving pal, and I'm going to tell you about my latest obsession, Wongo puzzles. These things are the real deal, folks. They're high quality, handcrafted, and perfect for anyone who loves a good challenge, but doesn't want to dedicate their entire kitchen table to puzzles for a week. Trust me, I've been there. And I might still be there. But I got one of these actually for Christmas. I loved it. I did it, and I was so proud of myself. And they have all these cool designs, and you need to go to wongopuzzles.com and use our discount, BHH. You get 10% off, and I really want to know if you'll order one of these puzzles, what you think about it, because it's so fun, and I need to order like 5. So, yeah, the grand jury is no defense there, only prosecution. That way the people who come and testify and give their statements don't have to do it in front of him or the defendant, and he's not there. And so, and then I guess this jury just decides if they think it should be taken to trial, or if it should not be taken. Like if there's enough evidence to bring it to trial.
Which I think Nancy Grace was saying, if you take a ham sandwich to a grand jury, it's going to be taken to trial. Like it's a given. All right, next up, we got Natalie Halloway and Joran Vandersloot is back in the news.
I know.
And this is a story. You have to know who Natalie Halloway is. It's something that happened in 2005. She went on a trip, her senior trip, and never came back. She was declared legally dead in 2012. And Joran Vandersloot, who is a son of a prominent judge, was the prime suspect. And he was known to a lot of the people down there to drug and rape American tourist women, girls there.
Okay.
So pretty, great guy. He, Natalie was never found, but Joran Vandersloot was never convicted of her murder, but he was convicted of another woman named Stephanie Flores' murder. And I didn't dig deep into that because I do think it's a story that we need to cover at some point. But he has been extradited to Alabama here soon, and he's going to face charges of extortion and fraud because he tried to swindle Beth Halloway, Natalie's mom, out of $250,000. He promised her that if she sent him money, that he would tell her where Natalie's body had been buried this whole time. I couldn't catch what year he did this, but he got at least $25,000 off of her. And the lawyer was part of this transaction, so she has evidence that he was in on this, and they actually showed up to some site where she was not at. So she was thinking she was going to find her daughter to at least bring her daughter home and bury her daughter, and it didn't happen. So he's also in jail right now because of the murder charge, but he's also facing smuggling charges in this Peruvian jail. He has also had multiple wives, had multiple girlfriends. He's impregnated women since he's been in there. He's living a bachelor style. It's basically a brothel.
That's why they're saying he's probably hoping to stay there. Obviously, he's hoping
and he
to
will.
Stay there until he gets. Well, that's why they're he may not make it back there if he's to the jails here. I mean,
so they're saying even if he gets convicted here of these charges, he'll have to go back to his Peruvian jail, finish out his murder sentence plus his smuggling charges sentence, and then come and do his sentence in America if he makes it back.
Yeah.
So, American prison system, you know what to do.
Yeah.
But Natalie's mother does feel refreshed and good, so she feels like she's finally getting some type of justice. Somewhere. Yeah. I feel good that at least he's, at least in prison, even though he's not living a prison life. So there's that. We're going to cover that story, so don't dive too deep in that. Another review is, and you can kind of help me with this, the Oklahoma 7 McFadden case that you covered a couple
stuff
episodes ago.
Every day.
And so what I've seen, that's the one where there were 7 people found dead in Oklahoma. And Jeffrey McFadden was the convicted felony and sex offender that was also found dead. And they said
it's Jesse McFadden.
Jesse. Yeah. Oh, Jeffrey was one of my students. Sorry. Was found with a gunshot wound to the head. I didn't realize that they were found 100 yards away from each other, so it kind of looked like they were running.
Yeah.
And then now they're saying it looked like they were killed. So people are saying they look like they were maybe killed and their body had been staged out there. All these different things are happening, and then when the family showed up at the house looked like a brothel. There's some sketchy stuff that's been going on. It's basically come out that the police there have not done their job. OSBI is now in the picture, and the family has since said that there has been more communication from the OSBI than there ever was with the actual police department. And what town was that?
Okmulgee?
Yes, county.
Okmulgee
County. And now it's coming out that the priest that Miriam.
Okay.
And then the lady that did the marital certificate also does the registration for the sex offenders.
Basically, they were saying that the police knew that this guy was getting married and they signed off on the documents, like the marriage papers and documents. But then they were saying, well, it's just paperwork that comes through, and they're like marriage certificate. They sign off and they just go about their day.
Like they don't
I
do
don't know.
checks.
I don't know how any of that works. If you do, let us know, because you hear both sides and you don't really know which one is accurate. So if you're out there and you work at a place that you sign off on marriage certificates, let us know if you're part of the police department.
Well, and is
Or,
it
like,
their responsibility to do a background check?
Right. This is why there should be like a flat. Anytime a name pops up who's like a sex offender or a registered sex offender. Do you know in Canada they don't have that? They don't have a list. So don't go to Canada.
Or if you're a sex offender. But then supposedly she found out somehow, and he explained it away by hiring a girl, an actor, that she was the supposed victim. And she says, oh, it was all a big misunderstanding. So then wife, Holly, was like, oh, okay.
Oh, you're talking about, okay.
Yeah. So wife did find out that she was supposedly he was a sex offender. But he explained it away.
He paid this girl to lie to the wife, saying she was the victim and she wasn't really raped or assaulted, and everything's fine. But then I think she ended up telling her that it wasn't true. Or something. But it's there's so much.
It really just falls back onto the police still did not do their job either way. But it's sounding more and more like McFadden did not want his wife and his family to know about this ongoing, like what was going to come out in court about his ongoing affair with this young girl and the cell phone. So that's what remember he had that court date on the day of the murder.
Yeah. But also how the police officers knew that he had this phone and knew that what he was doing on his phone, and yet they still released him.
Let him out. I mean,
which he was looking up, like he was like sexting with like a 17-year-old or 16-year-old or whatever. But still, you not only have an illegal phone, which I mean, I'm sure
contraband phone,
and you're doing this, and they're just gonna be like, oh, that's fine. Go do it, because maybe they were all connected in some way and the police are involved and they're like, oh, that's our hookup. Let him out. Don't know.
I don't know either. Okay, here's the news story. Let's go to Utah, and it's always a red flag when it's in Utah.
Y'all, there's so many things going on with Utah. Like I keep hearing Mormon story after Mormon story after Mormon story. Like we have the then we had that, and then
there
there's
are Mormons.
I know.
Never trust a Mormon. Never trust a Mormon.
I just can't.
Okay, Corey Richens. She is a 33-year-old woman, and Caroline, she's multi-talented. She is a house flipper. And she's a children's book author. She's good looking. She's the whitest teeth ever.
She's cute.
She is very good looking. She had 3 boys. She had a good looking redhead husband. You know how I am about redheads.
Oh, I didn't realize he was redhead.
He looked like it to me.
Oh, he was just white.
He was dirty blonde, maybe. Cherry, what's it called? Cherry blonde? Red blonde? Cherry blonde.
Yeah.
So she turned a tragedy into a triumph, because in March of 2022, she made her husband a Moscow mule.
Aww.
And took it to him in bed, because they're such hard workers. They're house flippers.
Yeah.
They buy these houses and they resell them, and they make a lot of money off of that. And she said that she took him his Moscow mule, and she went to go check on one of the kids. When she came back later that night, he was cold to the touch.
Oh, no.
So she called 911, panicked and frightened.
Oh, no.
And she was so devastated after his death that she was left to raise her 3 sons, and her 3 sons were so devastated, and they had to go through all these new things without their dad, that she was inspired to write a book about grief, because she looked on Amazon and there was no books about little boys losing their dads. So she wrote a book called Are You With Me? It's a children's grieving book. It was a pretty good little book. Like, I read some of the pages and I was like, oh, this is fitting, right? Well, couple weeks after the book got released, first the book got released and she was like, she was the internet frenzy. She was a local girl that like children's authors all over Amazon. She was doing all these interviews and she had planned to write sequels, but she did not get to because a couple weeks after it was released, a year after her husband died, turns out they found out that he actually died of a lethal dose of fentanyl.
Now, how did they not know this until a year later?
I guess you just don't do an autopsy immediately?
Why? Why are we not always doing autopsies?
Costs a lot.
She's just like,
you have to request it.
She's just like, oh, he died. Like, what was the cause of death?
For a young guy. Like, she was 33, he was 35.
Yeah, what did they do we know?
I don't know.
I don't either. Okay, good. I'll look while you.
Yeah. What did it say? Cardiac arrest? I don't know. Anyways, the family ended up hiring an investigator and a PI, and the PI found all this out. It really wasn't a lot of the police work. They found evidence that she had tried to poison him twice before. The Valentine's Day before, so a month before, he ate on Valentine's Day and he was like deathly sick. And he was talking to his sister and he told his sister that he thinks she tried to poison him. And not like a joke.
No, this is exactly like the other case that we did with the husband who was telling the wife, did you try to poison me again? Yeah. And they were also from Utah. They had the 5 kids. Remember, he had a girlfriend.
Yes.
Had
the dentist. Weren't they dentists?
Yes, the dentist.
Yeah.
Which one killed which?
The dentist guy killed the wife with poison, like cyanide, and
it was
stuff.
like the 3rd time.
Yes,
he had poison.
And he was like, I know this brings back PTSD, but I'm not going to try to poison you again.
Yeah. So again? Now she is basically they're copying each other. They may be there together.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they're together. The dentist and the book writer.
Yeah.
The author.
Yeah.
The dentist and the author go to jail.
They're going to jail together.
New book.
So he also thought that she tried to poison him when they were on a trip in Greece, like a year before. And the relationship had been rocky because he was becoming more and more suspicious and telling his sisters all about all the sketchiness. So he had cut her out of his will. And he put his sister as his beneficiary on his life insurance. They found out that she was in contact, the wife was in contact with a drug dealer, and they found text messages that were deleted. So they recovered text messages that the wife sent to a drug dealer that asked for some Michael Jackson pills. She bought 30 pills of fentanyl for $500. And they found out that she was stealing money from him. So he had found out that she was stealing money when he was alive. So as they're married, he was finding out that she was bad with the money. So she had stole $100,000 from his bank account. So they had a bank account together and they had 2 separate ones. She had spent $30,000 on his credit cards, got credit cards in his name. And then she used his power of attorney to secure a $250,000 loan. She uses all this stuff on their house flipping investments. So she's using it for the business, and she's a great house flipper, but she's making stupid like business deals, right? And he's not approving of them. They were in an argument because she wanted to purchase a $2 million home, and he was like, no way. And she was like, yes, let's buy it. Let's flip it and we can sell it for double. And he was like, nope, not going to do it. She would not sign. So that night, she had already gotten all the paperwork together. She killed him and then she signed on it, right? And then the next day she had a party at her house to celebrate that she closed on the $2 million house.
Where was he?
Dead?
In the room?
No, like she just still celebrated it because she pretended like he would have been so happy. Like this was their dream to do this, right? Oh. So she just was like, oh, we're still going to celebrate because this is what he would have wanted. But he did. The sisters were like, no, he didn't want this. Well, 2 weeks later, she found out that she was no longer on his will and no longer a beneficiary. So she was going to have no money to put into the house to flip it. So she had to turn around and put it up for sale, and she put it up for sale for $3.7 million. Oh,
my God.
So she was going to make a profit anyways. And so that was her plan. Her plan was to kill him, buy the house, use all of his money to flip the house and make a profit off of it. Like it was just all behind money. And so the big sisters, DTF, hired investigator, found all this extra stuff out, finally proved it, and now she's arrested and in jail. So on Mother's Day, her poor kids didn't have a daddy or a mama a year after their dad was killed.
Richards had told the police she performed CPR on him after finding him unresponsive in their home. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she said that she fell asleep in the bed with her kid, that she gave him a Moscow Mule, and she went to check on the kid, and she fell asleep, and when she woke up, he was cold to the touch.
It says in this article I'm reading, her arrest came 2 months after that of Mormon dentist Jim Craig, who is suspected of poisoning the wife.
Oh, right after
each other. In Colorado. Oh, my gosh. I just said that.
And my last one is a little bit more not true crime, but just more... what's famous?
Also, I think that her side part is very telling, or her part in her hair, because it's like real on the side,
all the way over.
Yeah, I think that just says something about a person. If you have a side part, you may be a murderer.
Oh yeah. So, did you hear the Jerry Springer drama?
No, I just know he's dead.
What happened after he died?
No.
And so I saw videos on YouTube and of course on TikTok. It's my newest source.
Oh yeah, TikTok is the source. It's the source. It's
the
source, and it's the source.
He recorded a video when he was alive, and just for his lawyer. And this is like his "When I die, play this video to my loved ones." And it's basically his last will and testament. He had it in paper, but it was like to his loved ones.
How did he die?
I don't know, cancer, heart attack. I don't know.
He got the jab.
So this video had his lawyer. So it was him on his video, but the video that you watch on YouTube is like on a Zoom. And so it's his lawyer and then his two daughters, which are two daughters by his wife. So these are two white girls. Then you see these two black kids, like mixed kids. There's like a boy and there's a girl, and they're not kids. They're like grown-ups. They're like maybe upper 20s or 30s. So there's 4 or 5 people on the Zoom. You know how like a Zoom picture looks. And then here's like Jerry Springer. Yeah, Brady Bunch Squares. Then there's Jerry Springer playing his video. And so he's basically like, this is so weird. This is weird. And I'm sure y'all are scared. I'm scared recording this, and I'm not even
because he's
dead.
Recording it knowing it's going to be played when he's dead.
When he's dead, yes.
I want to do that.
We
should do a recording of if we're dead. This is what we have
now,
to say.
He had did it when I don't know how soon after he found out he was sick, or like before he died when he did it. Either way, he confessed to a affair that he had on his wife years ago. On his death video, he confessed to an affair, and his wife knew about this affair though. And when he had this affair with this woman got pregnant.
Did she go on Maury Povich?
She did not go on Maury Povich. This woman was black. So he had an affair with a black woman. And he fell in love with this black woman. But when his wife found out, she made him promise to never see the woman again, and never have anything to do with the kids. And she blackmailed him to out him and his affair
Is that racist?
all over the Hollywood. And so he was basically saying, I was ashamed and I was afraid, and, you know, she won. I let her win. I'll let her win. Well, and I guess he kept the affair going because he was in love with this woman. But the woman never wanted her kids to know that Jerry Springer was the daddy, because she didn't want her kids to be part of his circus, basically. So he honored his wife's
But
request.
she wanted him to get some of their money?
Nope. Nope. She wasn't she never took anything from him,
Good for her.
according
I
to
mean,
this
that's
video.
actually probably dumb, but good. Good job. But what?
And yes, so he honored his wife's request by not seeing those kids, taking care of those kids. But he honored his side piece, the woman that he had an affair with, request by not telling those kids that he's their daddy. Okay? But he was like, I've had enough and it's time to do the right thing. I've been doing the wrong thing for 26 years. So they're 26 years old. So he was like, with that being said, so-and-so and so-and-so, the two white kids, you guys can have my New Orleans home. You can do what you want with it. You can live in it. You can sell it. You can get the profits off of it. But my Georgia home, my South Carolina home, my Mississippi home, all my annuities, all my everything, all my trusts, everything will go to John and Misha, which are the black kids. The wife gets nothing because he told the wife, if you make me do this, you will never get a cent of anything that I've earned. And so this is how he's paying her back. And I guess his daughters were like
Beyond
spoiled.
the grave.
Yeah. So one of the daughters was like, this fucking prick. And she like hung up out of the Zoom. And the other daughter was
They're
like,
all on the Zoom.
yes.
This is the family on the Zoom.
Yes, they're all on the Zoom watching this live. So on the Zoom, you're seeing this reaction. The other daughter is kind of like crying. Okay. This is where I don't know if this is real. Because, you know, Jerry Springer's always has, like, even in death, he's got like a show.
You know, I didn't even question. I believe in it 100%. No matter what.
I didn't either because it's Jerry Springer. I didn't question until this last little bit, right?
Yes.
So then all you got is one daughter, the lawyer, and then the two black kids. And then, so then the one daughter got out. The other white daughter's crying, and then the two black kids, and then so the black girl goes, I guess black lives do matter. And then the lawyer says, well, you know, I guess in this case it does. And then it goes off. And I was like, fucking Jerry Springer. That's what made me think this is fake. Jerry Springer, even in death, is still playing games.
Deep fake from the grave. You get it, Jerry. This is what
But
you're
wasn't
a
it?
legend.
I know. Wasn't it
Well,
so real and like?
Yes, I have to see it.
So y'all go find the video and tell us if you think it's real or fake.
That is so great.
Yep. Okay, y'all. That is it. We'll see y'all Thursday for a full episode. Don't forget to
Stay where?
stay alive
Oh, it's BGTF.
and go register for the live show because the link is out right now.
Oh, when is it? June 24th?
June 24th.
June 24th.
Downtown Waco at Undercroft, Austin
Undercroft.
Avenue.
Undercroft, June 24th.
Yeah.
What? Like in the evening? Like it's
7 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah, there is an actual underground speakeasy down there. It's really dark. It's really
So all you out of towners, go ahead and get your plane ticket and get ready to fly on out.
yeah. See y'all.
Bye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.
I did have a couple of people I work with. One of them, where does he live? Chicago. And he was like, I've been, because I saw him 2 weeks ago at one of the events. And
any influence on the final sentence
Yeah.
for teaching?
Okay. Good to go. Good to go. What am I going to eat tonight?
oh, I know. That is a good question because
Am I going to watch Anna Nicole Smith tonight?
I
Ooh, I've been
have
craving
a
pizza.
little interview tomorrow.
For the D1 thing? You think you'll take it?
I gotta figure out what it is because I'm like, it's as long as they're not trying to get me to like be a trainer, right?
Or sell?
Yeah, or sell. Like I want to be on just the businessy side.
Yeah.
But I'll find
And train if you want to.
Yeah,
but
like
not
if,
have
like,
to.
Like I just was like, that'd be cool to go in back into just wearing workout clothes.
Huh?
Can I just still wear them out? When I go,
You can't be business
meeting
and
the
workout.
guy, I'm meeting
In
him
the gym, you probably
at
could.
T1.
Mm-hmm. Kevin? No.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
Yes.
what, Kevin? Uh-huh.
Did I tell you, or do you know him?
You told me and I know him.
Because Coach K, do you know Coach K?
I know Coach Kevin Engelbrett.
I really remember his ex-wife.
Oh, that turned into a lesbian?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, she always looked like it, but.
Yeah.
But how do you know him? Or
He
what,
used
where-
from Conley. He's the coach at Conley.
And then how long has he been at D1?
I don't know.
I guess since it opened.
No, there was another owner. He was the second. I think he might have been the second or third set of hands
What
that's
did he
taking
do
it over.
after being a coach? He just went there from being at Conley?
No, he was a
I'll have to ask
coach
him.
at different places.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he went from a coach to D1, but I don't think he was the first. I don't think he opened a D1.
Yeah.
I think he might have been the second
Yeah.
hands. But I might be wrong. But it's been a little bit.
Yeah.
He's been there.
He's real bad.
He's so nice.
Yeah, he's really nice.
And then he does a lot with the Special Olympics. Goes up there every Saturday, so I still see him with that every once in a while.
Yeah.
Okay, what are we talking about? Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Trenton. Hey, y'all. This is April.
And this is Caroline.
This is your bloody happy hour. We are back.
We're back. And hope you listened to Tuesday because we had some good stories.
Yes, new quickies, and then we did some review of some old ones.
Mm-hmm.
What was the moral of this stories? Never trust a Mormon, right?
Never trust a Mormon.
Yeah, don't marry anybody from Utah.
Nope.
That's it.
Sorry.
We live by that.
I think only Utahns can marry Utahns.
Yeah, and then
I feel like Colorado's like
getting up there.
basically Utah.
Yeah. And, unless you're Deion Sanders and coming with that whole group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then you're probably safe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're coming for football purposes, so you're not dangerous.
Yeah, no football players are dangerous.
Never.
Very
We've never done any stories on football players.
They're very safe. What are you drinking?
I have some, it's a little tangy, Deep Eddy Ruby Red. It's the grapefruit edition. And I have these little.
Oh, you just take.
Does it mean you're real drunk? If you're real drunk, if you keep these in your purse?
Yes.
I just bought some to keep them in my car because I don't always have time to stop.
Sometimes you probably get a little, you get a little anxiety. You get a little stressed out while you're driving. You just need a little shot.
Or take some Goli Ashwaba.
Oh.
Ashwagandha.
Ginkgo biloba?
But my newest favorite drink, you guys could actually buy us around for next week. Since I've been binging Will and Grace, my newest drink has been gin and tonic with the squeeze of lime, Bombay or Hendrix. So go ahead and Cash App. Yeah. Bloody Happy Hour or Venmo, Bloody Happy Hour, and buy us around.
Yeah. Y'all should do that because we get thirsty and it gets real boring over here. And also, we could have like a little bit more fun drinks.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're always rushing. We're real boring. Mm-hmm. We're always coming straight from work. So White Claw and Truly's usually it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or whatever's at the house. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was going to say, I know that one of our listeners, Stephanie, she sent a Venmo for my fund for the Kohberger.
Or tequila, so it looks like you need to be buying some tequila.
I'm going to get some tequila with that. So thank you,
Thanks, Stephanie.
for
we'll be drinking
the tequila that we'll have next week.
There we go.
Yeah, that's what happens when it gets canceled.
Canceled. Okay, what's our story? What are we talking about? But first, live show. Tell them when.
June 24th, guys. June 24th.
Registration's out.
A live show. You can go register right now.
Yes.
Where?
The website. I mean,
what is the
our website is bloodyhappyhour.com, or you can go to one of our page. You can go to our Facebook page. The link is there, and or inbox us, and we'll send it to you. It's also probably going to be on our Instagram page. Oh, did the site go away?
I never know.
You didn't put our.
Oh. Whoops.
Boom. It's the worst.
It's there is merch. There is not merch.
We're also going to post a picture of what the Dirty Chad t-shirt is going to look like. Thank you to one of our listeners, DC, but not Dirty Chad. And you will have the opportunity to get one at the show. Also, only if you come to the show, you're going to get a sneak peek of Dirty Chad, but you have to be at the show. It's not going to come out on Spotify until a little bit later, and it's only going to be a sneak peek. So come to the show if you want a little bit of Dirty Chad.
Get ready. Get excited for the juice.
What's our story?
Okay, this is a trigger warning story, and I know we have those a lot, but this one involves a child.
Oh.
So this may deter some of you, but it is... I'm gonna play the victim impact statement of the father first. So if you don't like what you hear, then you don't have to listen, but it is a wild story, and it's not that gory, and there's not like a bunch of that kind of details. Mm-hmm. It's more of like, this is a wild case.
Okay.
But it's very sad, but yeah, that's what I'm going to say about that. And okay.
Being born severely premature.
I don't hear.
Oh no, I don't hear.
Hands the first time I held him.
I guess it disconnected.
Allison, we're not connected. It disconnected.
Just disconnected. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I don't know what happened. I mean, I do because. Okay.
Being born Gannon was being born severely premature and barely filled my two hands the first time I held him. At the end of his life, after his body was cremated into a pile of ashes, he was ultimately no bigger than the first time I held him. Now, Your Honor, if I have any influence on the final sentence for Tisha, first I ask to be stripped of my last name immediately. It's nauseating and infuriating to hear her called Miss Stout this past 3 years. Secondly, I ask that for every mile she drove Gannon across the country, she spend 1 day in solitary confinement. After that journey is complete, I recommend her sentence be equal to every year she stripped off of Gannon's life, which for the average male in America right now is 77. So that would give her 66 more years in addition to the 11 he lived. Lastly, for every year of Harley's life that she abusively manipulated that child, she should have an additional year of prison. It adds 21 years to the total. I think without parole, that should suffice. I also pray that every night before she falls asleep, her last breath before she drifts off sounds just like the breath that she describes Gannon breathing as life left his body. And that all through her sleep, she dreams of all the fun they had at Disney and other places we went throughout our time together. And that every morning as she is about to wake, the end of her dream, the last words Gannon spoke to her, screamed or cried, "Tisha, stop! You're hurting me. Why, Tisha? Daddy, help me. I want my mommy. Why couldn't you let her just be a mama's boy? That's all he wanted to be. He just loved his mama. I wish she would tell me what those words were so I would know." And then as she speaks those words, the sound of a gunshot goes off and she wakes. Every day and night I pray she relives just those moments and then wakes up to a nice, warm, and kosher breakfast. Nonetheless, her loss, Lena's loss, is like none I can even imagine. She lost her big brother, her only brother at the time. I still do not know if she has fully processed or fully understands the gravity of the situation, but regardless has pressed forward and is thriving as best as she can. I am so proud of her. And these are her words. Once again, they're in yellow, so I'll do the best I can. And this is what I asked her if she wanted to say anything to Tisha, and this is what she said in her sweetest mind that she has. That you do not do that to people, especially your stepkids. And that it is never all right to do these things. How sweeter of a response can you get?
My goodness.
So bad. I know. I'm sorry, but that's...
Was that his wife sitting next to, or the baby's mama?
No,
Gannon's mama?
No, but that is his wife.
That his wife right now?
Yeah.
Where's the mama?
So the baby mama, she was on drugs.
Okay.
She was there. She's not in prison or anything, but she just didn't. Daddy had custody, main custody, and he was in the military or in the military. Yeah, I'll go into it. So
okay.
he was out a lot.
This is the trial that just
National
ended.
National Guard.
Okay.
So this is the trial, yes, that just ended. This is Letitia Stout, who was accused and convicted of murdering her 11-year-old stepson, Gannon. And they talked about Harley they mentioned Harley and Lena. Harley is her daughter. Lana is his daughter. So dad had Gannon and Lena.
Mm-hmm.
And mom, or Tisha, he called her Tisha, she had Harley, and Harley was 17 or 18.
Okay.
And we'll go into details about all that. But let me just tell you a little bit about how we're going into the trial. Or let's just start from the beginning. Who's
Okay.
Letitia Stalk? In let's see. Letitia was born in 1983. She had like a difficult past, but I don't know how much of it's really. She alleges that she was abused by her stepdad. She says she was sexually assaulted. I don't really know if that's really true, but I know there was a rough environment that she grew up in. She got married. She got divorced. She had a history of domestic violence and battery and theft before she even met Al, which is Al Stalk, which is the guy who we just heard from.
She did all this?
Yes.
Or it was done to her?
She had
Okay.
a history of that. She had been a teacher previously.
Oh, man.
She lived in North and South Carolina. And
Where-
that's
and where are we
she
now?
That's where
Okay.
she meets Albert Stalk. And they ended up meeting in 2015. So she meets Albert 2015. They get married. And he has an 11-year-old son named Gannon and an 8-year-old daughter named Lena. And Letitia has a 17-year-old daughter named Harley.
Okay.
So we have 3 kids. And they're trying to, build a life together. They have their blended
Blended
family. And she started to become resentful because he was out of town a lot because he was in the National Guard. And he was always going, I guess, out on, what do you call them, tours or something?
Yeah.
He just was going to do his duties in his service. So she felt like she was more of a babysitter.
Yep.
And
Because she went from 1 to 3 kids.
She went from 1 to 3 kids, and his mom was nowhere, but he still wanted his mama. He didn't want her because she's evil.
Mm-hmm.
So no wonder he doesn't want her. Nobody wants to be around her. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about Gannon. He was born 3 months premature. The doctors gave him about a 10% chance of survival.
They always do.
Yeah. So I say, yeah, like I know. I have no idea. But they said that they thought he would have physical and mental disabilities. But
he didn't.
Probably because she was also on drugs.
Yeah.
But he was a fighter and he didn't have anything wrong with him, and he went to school like a normal kid, and he was even in like GT classes.
Wow.
And so his little sister loved him and idolized him, and the family called him G-Man, and so they kind of talked about that at the trial. And so that's kind of how Gannon was. He was well liked, and he, just 11-year-old kid. So at the house, they're having, they're building their family, but Letitia and Al argue a lot. And Letitia brings in her daughter, Harley, to kind of like referee their arguments. It's not really.
That's a great mom.
Yeah, that's a great mom.
Tactic.
She's like, hey, who's right? Who's right? Him or me? Who's right? And she puts her daughter in the middle of their arguments.
Oh, wow. I'm going to do that next time I
Yeah,
argue.
yeah, you should do that. And so obviously that's not a good thing to do. So then they're talking like Al, he goes out of town, he's gone, and then all of a sudden, like, Letitia calls him and is talking about Gannon, and is like, I found this text on Gannon's phone, and it's talking about, he was asking a friend about bath salts.
Oh, the real ones? I mean, the ones you put in the bath, or the ones that make you eat people's face?
This is where this is what she starts. She's creating this. So she's like, hey, Al, I found this text on Gannon's phone. It's talking about bath salts. He's asking a friend to bring over these bath salts. I don't even know what's bath salts. Takes the pictures. Like, is this what's a bath salt? I don't know what's a bath salt. Well, what we find out during the trial is that this text is likely something that she made up, or she just told him, or she sent it from Gannon's phone to some other phone, and because she has a burner phone at this time, and that she's trying to create this scenario that Gannon is like secretly into drugs and like doing bath salts as a drug, the face-eating drug, as we know. And so that's where she's kind of starting to set up this scenario. So January 26, 2020. Okay, so they got married in 2015, and I believe they met in North or South Carolina. Now they're in Colorado, and that's where they're living. It's January 2020. This is pre-COVID, and a fire starts in the basement of the home. He's gone. He's out on his National Guard duties. Fire starts the house. Well, apparently Gannon had knocked over a candle, and he burned himself as well from this. It must have been quite the candle.
Wow.
I've never
Is this a torch?
knocked over a candle, burned myself to where I'm bubbling on my arm and bubbling, and it lights the room on fire.
This was a rocket candle.
Basically, rocket candle. So Letitia is like, he was bleeding everywhere, and that's why there's blood all over the walls. It's from his blister, from his burns, from his blisters that were bleeding. Okay? Because they're asking her, why is there blood on the wall? Okay. So Al is like, so she calls him. She's like, oh, this is what happened. But he's just like, what? What are you talking about? First you're texting me, you're telling me about bath salts, and now you're talking to me about this fire that happened because of some candle that fell over? Like, I don't understand. And I need more, like, you're just throwing random stories at me. Well, earlier in that day, her daughter, Harley, she was out and she was hiking. Okay. So she's gone and she's out of the house. Well, Gannon comes back, or let's see, earlier the same day, Letitia tells her daughter Harley that she was out hiking with Gannon. So Harley's at the house, Letitia and Gannon are gone. She's already made up the story to Harley. Hey, we went hiking, and then they get back from their hiking trip, and like Gannon, I'm going to put Gannon to bed. Gannon goes to bed. She tells Harley, hey, you need to go say goodnight to Gannon. And she's like, that's weird. You've never told me to go say goodnight to Gannon. I mean, usually he just goes to sleep, whatever. Yeah. So she like walks into Gannon's room, opens the door, sees just the top of his head coming like just above the covers, and is like, what kind of whispers, and is like, goodnight, Gannon. And then like closes the door and goes to sleep and like whatever. But this was just another part of Letitia's story. Yes, part of her story. So that was on January 26th. Now we're on January 27th. So this is the next day. Everyone's going, like, kids go to school. Letitia, I guess she don't have a job, so I don't know what she's doing. But they do that. They go have their day, come back. Dinner time comes. Letitia's home with Harley and Lena, and they're waiting for Gannon to get home. But Gannon doesn't show up. And it's kind of like late. It's getting late. It's nighttime. It's been all day. Like, why is he not coming home from school? Where's he at? And Letitia's like, well, I think he's probably just at a friend's house. And they're like, okay. Night goes on. Still no Gannon. She finally calls the police, and she reports him missing. But then the police come and they're like, well, where is he? Or like, what's happened? Like, what's the story? And she's like, well, I mean, I think he's at a friend's house. And they're like, well, why are you reporting him missing if you know where he is? Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, like she didn't think it through. Okay. And so, yeah.
I hate people that do these crimes and then you're a dumbass about it. Like, have a better plan.
So then once she realizes she doesn't know who Gannon's friend is, or she doesn't know this name of the friend she's going to make up, this is when her inconsistencies begin, if they haven't begun already. So she At first, she says that Gannon left to go visit a friend, but then she can't give the police the details. And then she says that a man named Eduardo.
Oh, it's always a Mexican.
Eduardo.
Are these the same ones that kidnapped Sherry Papini?
Yes. Yes. These are those, it's like girls' boyfriends.
Cousins.
Yeah, cousins. Eduardo broke into the home, came in and raped her, and then took Gannon. So she was assaulted.
Thanks for adding that later on.
So she's like assaulted and raped and all this stuff, and then Gannon gets kidnapped. But then she says that Gannon is riding his bike, crashes, and gets a head injury.
Oh.
But then she says that for some reason, a man drives by, I guess after he fell off the bike and crashed, a man drove by and picked up Gannon and said, I'm just going to take him to my house and I'll call 911 when I get there.
Was it one story that she kept him home from school because he was sick and had diarrhea?
Oh, yes.
And they went all these places.
Well,
I heard one of those stories.
Okay,
That's
so this is one of the phone calls between. There is
a plethora.
hours and hours of recorded phone conversations between Letitia and Al that were played during trial. And you will hear how I'm going to play about 4 of them.
And where is he? And now also
he's
away, but is he in another
Guard.
country? Is he on a boat?
He's just in a different state.
Oh, okay.
He's just in a different state, and he ends up coming because he's just gone. It's just like within a couple of days this happens, and
Do we know how long they've been married?
Like 2015, and it's 2020, so they're married for 5 years.
So it's not like he just married a stranger and left his kids with a stranger.
You'll hear it. Just listen to her.
Okay.
Just listen.
I just know that it was an accident. All I did was someone was trying to help me. And then I didn't know where he went from there.
The one I'm worried the most about is the freaking head wound because what was it? How bad was he bleeding?
And this is after she says that he fell off the bike and got a head wound.
She told him that, or the popos that?
She told him that.
Okay.
So this is what his kind of response is.
It's pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. Like it was. Tell me bad. Is bad like blood's dripping down his face, or bad like he's laying there and there's a puddle, or what?
Oh, like dripping down his face.
Well, did you do anything to wrap around his head or anything?
Yes, my clothes I had on had blood on them.
The clothes you had on?
Yeah.
Okay. And did he have a phone?
He said he would run back to his house. He had Gannon, said he'd run back to his house, wrap it up tight, and he would call 911.
Okay.
Gannon was talking.
So he took Gannon to his house is what he told you, right? And you did you stay where you were? Did you follow him or what? Babe.
Chunk up. I don't have an answer to that. Let me hang up.
Yeah. So, okay, this a lot of the audio, it was kind of choppy during the trial. This is actually very clear how, based on what we heard. I was going to say something about it. Was there a question that I had?
She said bloody clothes.
No. All of these conversations that he's having with her these are all recorded by FBI as well. Because at this point, he's already suspicious.
Daddy is.
Yes.
Okay.
So
he's done called the FBI and said.
Yes, the FBI are already. Oh, I'm about to tell you right now. Yeah. So because within 24 hours they get everybody involved, FBI, and so by this time it's a couple of days, and she's already changed her story so many times that he is now in communication with FBI and is calling her and has their conversations recorded. That's why there's so many phone calls, because she did not shut up. And neither does Maria, and neither does Victoria, and neither does Rosie.
Who is that?
Or any of her other 12 personalities that she claims to have.
She's the one.
So, within 24 hours, the authorities upgrade his status to missing and endangered child. Law enforcement, FBI, and all volunteers from around the whole community. They are searching everywhere. They're searching the mountains. They're searching here. They're searching there. His favorite color is blue. They're wearing blue. The people are turning their porch lights on their houses blue. They're doing everything to get Gannon back. So at this same time, this is when Letitia decides that she's going to make public statements and she's going to do this TV interview. Now, I don't know if you've seen this TV interview, but this is the one where the back of her, she won't face the camera. She has the camera that's behind her, and it's just the back of her head. And she looks like the girl from The Ring, not
Samaria.
only in this interview, but also at the trial. And she's got this greasy ass. Her hair is greasy. She wore the same sweatshirt. She wore the same shirt like 3 times. I swear she does not shower, and she looks like she smells real bad. And her main attorney, or one of her attorneys, he looks like a pedophile. And they were laughing the whole time and talking, and it was very odd.
It's
and it was, yes, it was real bad.
I did hear she had she didn't shut up. She called up different people. She
and she was
interviewed
so fake
and
on this TV interview.
Well, even news reporters interviews.
She even so she's mic'd up. She goes and gets her daughter because they're like, well, can she vouch for you that you were here during this time or whatever? Daughter. And she's like, Harley, come over here and tell them that I was here after that time we went on hiking on that trail. Just tell them, yes, I was. And she's like, yes, she was.
Poor Harley. Where's she at now?
She is gorgeous.
Oh.
She's like mixed.
And her mom's a sociopath.
Oh. Yes. So
where's she at? Where's she gonna go?
I don't know. Look up Harley Stout. STA.
She had the last name too?
Oh shit! What was her last name? Look up Harley, Letitia's daughter. So it's the next day around. Let's see. She does all these. She gives these statements. She does this stupid ass TV interview backwards, and she's scrutinized, and the public and everybody's just talking. But they're like, "This girl is real suspicious." So the next day, Letitia leaves the house.
Harley Hunt,
yes.
Is that her?
Yeah, but she's like a little mix. She's like, yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, she could be a model.
She could definitely be a model. She's gorgeous.
Oh, look at her mama. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, her mom is literally the devil. Y'all just wait. So it's the next day. It's around 3 p.m. Letitia leaves the house, and she's out for the rest of the day. She texts Harley throughout the day, keeping tabs on what's going on at the house, where's Harley, what's happening. And Harley is left at home with Lena, her stepsister. And so that evening, police come by. This is just like the next day. Police come by to get more information. So they're ringing the doorbell, knock on the door. Harley's at home, Harley and Lena. But Harley calls her mom because her mom said, do not answer the door for anyone, especially the police. So she calls her mom and she's like, what am I supposed to do? And she's like, do not open the door. I feel like you probably want to be working with the police officers if you're looking for a missing kid. Yeah. Okay, so she opened the door. So late into the night, Letitia calls Harley and she's like, you need to come here right now. I'm at this hotel. You need to come here right now. She's like, I'm not leaving Lena. She's here. She's 8 years old, Lena. She's like, I'm not leaving her here home by herself. She's like, well, you got to figure it out. And she's just a bitch. Yeah. She's just so mean. And she forces her to, she's like, leave and take her somewhere and drop her somewhere else off and come over to this hotel. She's at a hotel. Okay, we don't know why. We know why. She drops off Lena at a family member's house. She goes to the hotel. Nobody's there. She waits for a little bit. Mom shows up. Letitia shows up. She has a rental car.
Where'd she go? Oh,
she's in a
where'd she
rental.
go?
So
about to run.
she's in this rental because apparently, and I don't think I have it recorded, but in one of the conversations, she tells Al why, and she was like, "Well, I was driving around so much looking for Gannon that I didn't want to run up the mileage on my car, so I got a rental."
That's things you think about when your kid's missing. That is exactly what crosses your mind.
Could you imagine what he's thinking? He's like, "Are you? Like,
Yeah.
Do you really think that's actually real? Like, you think that people will believe that?"
But I can't help but think there were not red flags that this bitch was a mean, narcissist, evil stepmom before 2020.
I'm like, he must have just been really.
And you can't even blame COVID on this.
No, this is just how she is.
Yeah.
And who she is. Ugh. So she finally shows up to the hotel. They spend most of the night at the hotel, but then like Letitia can't figure out what she wants to do. She want to stay there. She want to leave. So it's like early morning. They leave the hotel. They take Harley's car. They go back to the house, and then Harley has to go to work. And so Letitia's like, "Well, drive me back to the hotel because I got to get the rental car, and then you can go to work." So this poor child is like having to carry her mom around, and like she's like, "I don't know why you have a rental car. You have your real car just sitting in the driveway, and I have to drive it back and forth. I have to go to work. I have to live like."
Wow.
This poor girl. I hope I will adopt her. It'll be good. So I know I know this poor child. So Letitia she's in her rental and she like returns it back to wherever she got it from. Albert calls her because he's like, "Well, I'm worried about Gannon. Have you found him yet? Like, what's going on? He's getting suspicious because all of her stories are changing." And he says that he eventually asks her directly about if she has any involvement in Gannon's disappearance. And this next clip I'm going to play, it starts off where it's like he is reassuring her that he's on her side no matter what. But then you can hear his tone change as he gets frustrated because of what she says.
Okay.
All of her deception.
All right, Tisha, listen. Like I said the whole time, I'm just trying to help you and trying to keep you and Harley safe from all. I mean, these people are after me now. I don't know who the hell it is, but like I said, I had to go get my clothes changed and everything just so I can blend in better. And I want you to know that no matter what, we can work.
Because at this point, she's been saying that all these people, like she's saying that this Eduardo guy came and attacked her, and like she's made up so many different stories to him that he's now trying to just like play her game, like, "Oh yeah, I know those people are after you and they're trying to get you. No, yeah, they're after me too, and I have to be safe."
Oh.
So that's what he's saying there.
Okay.
This together, and I can help you, okay? But you just gotta let me help you. But I have you told me to be straight up. I got a very straight up question, okay? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Did you kill Gannon? I need to know. I need you to answer me yes or no right now.
I killed Gannon.
Did
The
you?
answer is no. I can't believe you asked me this.
Being straight up again, you changed your story again to me for the fourth time.
No, I changed my story.
You did. This is the fourth version of the same story, okay? Like half of what you told me today with the cut foot, and now he's got burned arms and picking it, and his butt's bleeding. All this stuff is new to what you told me the other day. And the other day you told me you cleaned up the area where you got raped so nobody would see it. But now you told me you just changed clothes. I just don't know what the hell's going on.
Hey, if you get raped, be sure to clean up the area.
Okay, so that's another part of the story is like that I think she talks about Gannon and how he has these issues pooping on himself. But what it seems like, and based on the phone calls and the testimony and everything, and then they didn't come out and straight say it, but it's what was implied is that she either gave him enemas or laxatives because he couldn't poop, but it was almost like they made it sound like a form of rape. If she gave him an enema, is that when you stick it up? And like did that in order to cause him pain. Like would put enemas up him to cause pain.
All the time?
Well, it just seemed like it was like, oh, because Dad's like, I know that he has like bowel movement issues or like, but there's never an explanation of why he had those issues, if he had some kind of gastrointestinal situation or if he was allergic to something. And it just seems like she was like, well, I gave him laxatives like usual and the enema, and it was just like it was a normal thing. I'm like, that's just what it implied, that was part of her torture to him. And
have you ever had an enema?
No.
Wait, an enema, that's the one where they push a bag of water up your butt, right?
I think they do put something up there. Is that what you do when you have a colonoscopy?
When you have a baby.
In your 40s? Don't you have to do the colonoscopy?
Do you get that in your 40s?
I think you're supposed to.
No, I think 50s. But I had to have an enema before I had a kid. And they there's this bag of water and they put it up your butt and they squeeze all this water up your butt basically so that you don't poop on the doctor when you're pushing.
But people poop on the doctor all the time.
Yeah, but my doctor didn't want to be pooped on. So it was like, let's go ahead and give him let's give her an enema before so they get all their poop out before they have a kid. And I was like, great, I don't want to poop.
Oh, I don't either.
So I would rather poop in the toilet before.
Absolutely. Or if you have a weird husband, maybe he wants you to poop on him. I don't know.
But
keep it clean.
If you don't hit the bathroom like right when that thing is coming, I can see how if you get enemas all the time, that you have to be real near a toilet. So if she does that,
form of
so
abuse.
That's the story
that could be a form. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you don't even need to be doing that all the time.
No.
That's medical reasons only.
Yes.
And that's sodomy.
Yeah. Yes.
That is sodomy. Yes. That is sticking something up your butt when there's no need to.
Yes. That's what they were implying. Yes.
The story that I heard is that she told whoever this story was that he didn't go to school that day because he was having stomach issues and he was going to the bathroom on himself. So they drove around town and went to a sporting goods store because they were going to look at a bike, but they never got out. And they went somewhere else, but they never got out. And
dude,
then
the amount of stories that come from this story, because she talks about that, because then they're like, but then she brings up this whole other story about how somebody was following her, and that's why she drove to that store. And when she drove to the store, she parked, and there was a pregnant lady, and the pregnant lady got in her car and was holding her at gunpoint without a gun, but then the pregnant lady made her go into the store. But then the pregnant lady, before they went in the store, she realized that the pregnant lady was not pregnant. It was a fake belly, and she had a bunch of money stuffed in her stomach.
Oh, wow. These aren't even good lies.
But wait, it turns out that this lady was laundering money with the Mexicans.
You're in Colorado. You're too far away from Mexico.
So then that's why she had to go, because then the lady had her at gunpoint, held her, and like made her go into the store. That's why she had to leave Gannon in the car by himself. And then she didn't know what happened after that. Okay, this is like story number 7, right?
Oh, gosh.
But it turns out that this money laundering pregnant Mexican lady
is real
person really happened 2 years prior.
Oh.
So she's coming back and she's using stories from the news that happened 2 years ago. And
to her or to somebody else?
It didn't happen to her. She's just making it up as she's telling her stories, and she like almost like just grabs this memory of this random story that happened 2 years ago and uses it as part of her alibi.
I do that sometimes. Random true crime story, and I think it's really going to happen.
So, this is why I didn't have one of my lawyer attorney friends that I typically watch trials with. I didn't have them like explaining it as it went. So I had to kind of figure it out myself.
Wow.
But now that Al is finally realizing that Letitia, she's crazy and she's doing all these things, she actually starts to realize, oh, he doesn't believe me. He doesn't believe what I'm saying. He's trying to call me out. He's asking if I murdered him. I need another plan. And she starts to get paranoid. So she's like, she thinks cops are following her everywhere, which they are. And she starts driving everywhere to avoid them. And so a few days after he's reported missing, her and Harley go to Marshall's. This is a different story than the pregnant lady. So they go to Marshall's, they go inside, they're coming out, and as they're coming out, they get arrested.
Great time to shop.
Great time to shop. Great time.
They get arrested, Harley,
They
too?
both get arrested on the spot.
Oh, Harley.
They eventually, I don't even think they take them in. I think they just arrest. I don't know but anyways, they get released and they... Letitia and Harley, well, really Letitia's like, oh, we're not staying in the house any longer. It's just not, we need another option. So she comes up with the fact that nobody's on her side. And so they go back home, pack up some suitcases.
And they flee.
In her rental van.
Do they wear diapers like the astronaut lady that drove across town? And they didn't want to stop, so she just wore diapers so she didn't have to pee.
Just get a Gatorade. What? Really? What? Do you want to sit in your own pee?
That's what she did. She wore diapers so she didn't have to pull over and pee.
Okay, bitch. You're going to get a yeast infection. And that is just... I can't. I'd rather take lots of dirty baths. So, they're bringing all these suitcases. Police are out there watching them. And the police are like, we need to check the contents of the bags. So they do. And they don't find anything. So then they were like, okay, well, guess y'all can go. And so they leave. Letitia and Harley are going. They're on a road trip. And they first go to a hotel, meet with her family, and then they try to come up with a plan. Because she has no plan. Okay, and also, where's Gannon? But really, where is he?
Yeah.
So...
they do find him because they did cremate him. Okay.
Yeah, so during this time, Harley's at the hotel with some of the family. I don't know whatever. Harley's at the hotel. Letitia leaves. She's gone for a period of time. Nobody knows where she goes. She just goes.
Oh, she's getting rid of the body.
Well, apparently, she has had a storage
this whole time
area
that nobody knows about.
That's where she was going because she was taking Gannon, who was. I gotta not jump ahead.
Okay.
Because I didn't tell you what happened to him yet.
No.
Okay. So. Letitia, so she's gone. Nobody knows where she's at. All right. And so, blah, blah, blah. She goes back to where she's having another phone call with Al. Okay. He is still like, where's Gannon? And she's like, you know what? I'm going to prove to you that I'm not lying. And she decides that she's going to go to a website called fakepolygraph.com. Because
sounds like a legit website to me.
She's going to show her husband that she's not lying and she's not involved in this case.
Oh, that's
however, the questions that she submits backfire on her because they don't allow you to ask questions that have to do with anything that's criminal intent, anything like that. But then she's like, I don't know what we're talking about. I didn't ask any questions about any criminal intent. Let me read you the questions and then I'll play the clip of her talking to this guy. The questions are, and she submitted these questions and she answered them. So that's how this works. You go to Fake Polygraph, you write out your own questions and you write out your own answers.
Oh my goodness.
So, Letitia provided the following questions and answers that were supposed to be truthful to fakepolygraph.com. Do you intend to answer these questions regarding your stepson truthfully? Yes. Is your birthday August 4th, 1983? Yes. Did you participate in any way in causing harm to your stepson? No. Did your stepson return with you to your home? Yes. Did you participate in any way in causing the death of your stepson? No. I submit to the court that if Letitia had nothing to hide, she would not have to pay for fake polygraph results. Okay.
Wait, and so she did this and she's showing this to who?
She did this to send to her husband.
Okay.
And then
where does it say if it's true or fake? It says
in the call?
Oh, I thought in the results. Like, does it say yes or no, or deceitful or not deceitful? On like question, like it has the question, and does it say lie or no lie? Let me see.
No, it just says yes. It doesn't say that.
Oh, okay.
Here is.
I'm gonna look at the website. Fake polygraph.
Yes. I didn't get any confirmation about my tests I paid for.
Okay, give me one moment, please. Let me have a little look. We have already sent the results to your email account.
I don't have them. Mm-mm.
Okay, let me try resending that, and if you don't receive it, give us a call back.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, now. Bye-bye.
It's about 10, 15 minutes, and you said it again. I still don't have it.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, it's actually been blocked by management, this order, due to the content of the questions, so we're not going to be able to send this report.
Due to the content.
Okay. So, do I get my money back?
So this bitch over here, he's like,
she want our $14.95 back.
I'm sorry, but due to the contents of your questions, we cannot send you your report.
Flagged FBI.
And she's like, oh,
CBI.
So do I get my money back? And he's like, nah, girl. No,
bruh.
And then we got more.
Not on this case, no. Obviously, true to our terms and conditions, it does clearly state that any sort of illegal activities or anything like that, obviously the management do reserve the right not to send the reports. Obviously, we do incur processing fees, so that's why a refund wouldn't be due.
So what do you do now? Just delete it and go on about life and keep money?
Yes, we would do indeed.
I got you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Not done yet.
Go ahead and delete it.
She called back.
I talked to you earlier and you said that the request I did was
bitch can't shut up.
blocked or something, but I looked on the terms and conditions and it says you can't say things about like infidelity and stuff like that. So I'm not sure how that was blocked.
So that again, sorry, that you can or can't?
No, okay, so I did a report earlier and you said you would send it to me, but when I called back you said it was blocked, that I wasn't allowed to get the report. But then I clicked the terms and conditions and it says you can do questions about infidelity and stuff like that.
Yes, infidelity you can, correct.
Right, and that's what I did.
No, you said murder.
Your report was about infidelity, was it?
Yeah, like I put questions in for it and you had to put like answers and you said something about it being blocked.
Yes, so what were your questions?
So it was about during the time that we were away inside of in another state that I talked to, and I gave the person's individual's name, Ortega. That was one of them. Then it said, "Are your eyes blue?"
What? Ortega?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's happened there then.
Ortega? This bitch is obsessed with Chicanos.
I'm not quite sure what's happened then.
Eduardo and Ortega and the pregnant Mexican lady.
And Maria. Y'all, this lady she's not insane though.
I need
She's just psychotic and evil.
I need Vatos Locos to get her in the prison.
Oh, for sure.
Vatos Locas.
So now she's like, oh, shit, I'm hitting the road. My destination is changing.
Getting my diaper.
She has no direction. She's getting her diaper. She's good to go.
She's taking Harley, though? Oh, Harley.
She's taking Harley with her. She has no idea. And then she's like, Harley, as they're driving, she's like, Harley, where do you want to live next? And Harley's like, I didn't know, we're moving. Like, she didn't know. She was like, and she's just, you'll hear, I'll have a clip of her in a little bit, but she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's just like, this has all happened, and it's been 4 days. This has all been in 4 days.
Only 4 days.
In 4 days.
Wow.
So
I would tell Harley to come to Waco and she can marry my son, but she's going to have too much trauma. She might going to be a little crazy. She's beautiful.
But she is beautiful.
She tall. She good breeding stock.
Well, I mean that.
She looks a little tall.
I don't know who her dad is. I don't know what he looks like, but she's really pretty. So Harley doesn't question her mom because anytime Harley talks back to her mom or questions her or goes against what she says, guess what Letitia does? Backhands her across the face.
Oh, no, Harley.
It's like that. Whenever I heard that, I was... Well, I mean, obviously the murder, but I can't visualize somebody stabbing somebody, but I can visualize somebody slapping somebody across the face. And it's weird, but it's like that stood out. And I was like, that is that's very cruel, which obviously, I mean, you don't just, you see in movies people getting slapped or whatever, but you don't, I guess you see people getting stabbed in movies too. So, well. Anyway, she's just an evil. Like, you're doing this to your own daughter because you don't want her to talk. I mean, it's just bad. So they make a few stops in Texas. They don't have any direction. They end up going to Pensacola, Florida, and they spent the day in Pensacola. And she was like, yeah, this is where. And then she's like, oh, wait, let's go to Orlando and stay with Casey Anthony. And let's start a new life there because she got away with murder.
Yeah, let's get tried in Orlando.
But then after about a day in Orlando, she was like, I don't think this is a good spot. I feel like police are following me. Well, probably they are. So they end up going to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and they stay at a friend's house. I don't know how she even has friends. So now it's March 2nd. So it's been...
Oh, and it started in January?
Yes.
Wow.
It's been over a month since he's reported missing. Letitia's finally arrested.
Okay, good.
At the time of her arrest, Gannon has still not been found, but there's now evidence. The evidence around her is circumstantial, but she's being transported from South Carolina to Colorado. Yes.
Okay.
While she's being transported, she's handcuffed. I do not know how this stuff happens. I don't know how you escape handcuffs. I don't know why you have a monster can next to you. But she escaped the handcuffs, and she grabs the monster can, and she hits it on the police officer's head. It, hits the police officer with it. Attacks the police officer. She's in the car. Okay, in the van. The van's driving. So you see this body cam footage, and all you see is her arms behind her, and then she is looking around, and she's rolls her neck because she's trying to play up.
She's trying to be crazy.
She's trying to be crazy, and she gets her hands free, and all you see is her arm swinging, and then she goes and hits this person next to her, and then they get on, and she's like, "You are hurting me." I mean, it's wild.
She had it. All she had to do is do like everybody does from Waco and just say she's Jesus, and then she would have got away with it and just been in a mental institution and been over with.
Yeah, I mean, but she tried to say she was 14 people, so
didn't work. That's the hardest thing to prove ever.
Yeah, she said she had DID, dissociative personality disorder. Dissociative identity disorder. Which I'm going to read to you in a second. But where was I? Oh, yeah, it's March 2nd. Okay, so now she's attacked this person with a monster can. She's in custody. It's been a couple of weeks. And then Gannon's body is discovered.
Where?
In Florida.
What? She had it the whole time.
The body is discovered under a bridge by bridge inspectors who are inspecting this bridge, which they inspect every 2 years. So they must have just it's been 2 years they inspected. What if they inspected it after she dumped him? It's at the panhandle of Florida. They come across a suitcase. We will hear, well, I heard, I didn't put it in here, but no, I did put it in here. The bridge inspector talks about finding. I did. We are going to hear it. He talked about finding the suitcase, and at first he's kind of like lighthearted about it, and then you can start to tell that obviously if you find a body in a suitcase, you're very traumatized.
And it's a little boy, and he's 11 years old.
And he keeps clearing his throat like that. So that's what you're going to hear, and we're going to listen to this right now.
She was traveling this whole time with him in there.
That's when we lowered down to the ground, we remembered that we had seen the suitcase. We finished up our inspection and then went back to the suitcase.
And why did you go back to the suitcase?
Pure curiosity.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We got back to the suitcase, and where it was lying at kind of an odd angle, but the handle was towards the underside of the bridge. So I reached out for the handle and immediately noticed it was very, very heavy. And I looked back and remember telling Matt, I said, I don't know what's in this. I said, but it's heavy. I said, and where it was at, it had the possibility of being waterlogged. We didn't know if there was clothing or something in it. We just noticed that whatever it was probably waterlogged and saturated, just due to how heavy it was.
And what did you open it?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
I was the first one to unzip it. And before we opened it, as soon as we unzipped it, we immediately noticed the smell. That's what hit us first. I remember looking up at Matt, who's quite a bit taller than me. And I said, Matt, I think there's something dead in here. And unfortunately, we do come across, sometimes somebody will throw out a litter of puppies or something in a bag, and that's not uncommon. And it smelled, but it was so strong. It was different that day. So I didn't initially open it, and we kind of thought about what we were going to do first. When we finally went ahead and unzipped the rest of it, the smell was so overpowering. We kind of took a step back, and the first thing I remember seeing was just 2 little feet, and that had little football socks on them. The best I remember, I remember there being little socks on them. And before anything else happened, we couldn't really make out what it was. Matt dumped the suitcase over, and of course we initially immediately knew it was a body. But after looking at it, it was we couldn't tell male or female, boy or girl. We didn't know. A lot of black hair. And then I turned away.
Oh my goodness. So she drove from Colorado to Florida with the dead body in her trunk.
And this was in a van, and Harley was with her.
Did they put Harley on the stand?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is just next. So,
never mind. Trent can't marry Harley. That's too much trauma.
So
she got to do a lot of counseling.
So Harley is told about this news of the suitcase, and she's in shock because she was in the car and she cannot process it. She can't believe it. She doesn't believe it. And she's like, there's no way there's no way that happened. Like, She didn't
say it again. The police had told her this.
Yes.
Okay.
The police tell her they found the suitcase, and they said that this is what they think that your mom dumped this suitcase, and she was like clearly in the car or in the van. It's a van, and so they were like, "We need to obviously talk to you," and so she was unaware, and
and luckily she was a minor at this time, so they couldn't like really video all this.
Yeah. Okay, this is her, a little bit of her testimony.
Up until this point, had you ever gone to the back of that van?
Hang on. Damn it.
Keep that in for them.
Up until this point, had you ever gone to the back of that van?
Oh my God.
It was back
No.
there. At any of the stops up to this point, had you gotten any change of clothes or gotten any suitcases out of the back of the van?
No.
At any point during this trip to Pensacola, did you smell anything in the back of that van?
No.
Do you know why I'm asking you if you smelled anything in the back of that van?
Yes.
Why?
Because Gannon was back there.
Did your mom do anything to prevent you from smelling anything in the van as you were driving?
Yes, she always kept the air on. I remember a time when I was cold and I tried to turn it off, and she was like, "No, it's hot in here." And we also like kept giving the dog like little like CBD treats to keep them calm.
Did you help your mother throw that suitcase over a bridge in Pensacola, Florida?
No, I did not.
Oh God.
At what point did you not believe your mom anymore, that she didn't have anything to do with Gannon's death?
I like started having questions, but I still like believed her for a while, and it wasn't until this past like November. It was recently.
So like
November.
Yes. Like
when was the trial?
Like yesterday.
What is this?
Okay,
May?
we're in, what month are we in?
When did it start?
The trial started in, let's say, March or April.
So her mama's been in jail, and she just
so it's May right now. November is when she finally realized.
Was the mama in jail?
Oh yeah, but like she had been trying to claim insanity and all this stuff, and it got delayed and delayed and delayed.
So just now,
I don't know what it was that made her just now think of it, but some people were trying to say she had something or she knew, but I think that she was just like being abused by her mom.
I think you just don't want to know. Like you can't like fathom. You can't fathom that. You want to think of everything. Everything else is going to make better sense.
That's the last
than
thing
this.
you're going to think about is that there's a dead Gannon is chopped up in a suitcase in the back.
Mm-mm.
So she's shocked. Letitia's brother then gets on the stand and he's shocked. He's like, "Why, Letitia? Why did you have to do this? Why?" Like, and that's exactly what he sounded like. They had to take
who? Who is this?
Her brother.
Letitia's brother.
Yes.
Oh wow.
And he's a black boy. So I don't know if she looks white, but she's.
It's probably like my brothers are white.
Yeah, well, that's true. And I mean, I'm black, so
don't be real confused.
He is just like, and they have to take a break. It's within like the first minutes of him getting on the stand, and it was so sad. So nobody could believe it. Like the family just couldn't. That's why they were, I guess, they didn't think it was her because obviously who does something that horrible. So what also that he realized is that she had actually rented 2 rental vans. She had originally had one, and then she did whatever she did with that one, and then she took it back and she got another one. But as she's switching the vans, she needed, I guess so, she took all the stuff out of the first van. She goes and gets the second van, but she needs help loading it back up, and so she calls her brother. Brother comes up. this is wild, whatever. So the brother actually helps her load this suitcase, and he got a weird feeling about it. He testified to this. He said he got a weird feeling. He didn't know why or what the weird feeling was, but he asked her about this one certain suitcase because it looked like it was so heavy, and he was like, what is in that suitcase? It's so heavy and it looks so big. And she said that it was softball equipment. I guess she played softball. Like, I guess she occasionally played softball, but she told him it was softball equipment. And so obviously he feels guilty because he helped load the body suitcase into the van.
Oh, man.
Yes. So there's that. And
so that's why you always say what you think. Because I would have called up Mama and been like, Mama, I think Letitia chopped up that baby and that baby's in that suitcase. But I'm just saying.
He probably did.
Look, I saw my sister-in-law walking towards Suspension Bridge with her 3 kids.
Wait,
and
you
I was
did? Or
yes.
you telling a story?
No, I did. And I called my mom. I called my brother and I called my mom and I was like, I think she's about to throw him off. I think she's about to throw him off and jump off herself. Because she got 3 kids. And you're walking towards the Suspension Bridge? Wouldn't you think? Like, this is stressed out, stay-at-home mom?
I don't know.
I was like, she's about to jump him off? No.
To get some fish or something.
To the Suspension Bridge.
To get some fried, I was
like,
going to go fishing.
They didn't have no fishing
poles. They
poles.
go feed the ducks.
Nope. So I just had to say it just in case it happened. I was like, well, at least I said it. They didn't believe me.
Did it happen?
No, they're still alive.
Oh, well. That would have been a better story.
I saw him and I yelled out the window. I was like, I love you, Joey and Zoe and DJ. Just in case she threw him off. That was my last words to him.
Well, at least she thought about them. You know. More than Letitia did, because guess what? Now that she knows she's screwed, she decides that she needs to plead not guilty by reason of insanity.
I mean, say your name's Jesus.
And so she claims that she had a psychotic break, and this led to her harming Gannon, and that she had dissociative identity disorder, which is someone who has multiple distinct personalities and various identities which control your behavior. I mean, I am a licensed psychologist, so and so sometimes this can cause memory loss. You can have delusions. You can have depression. And she starts to play up this role. And they hired this decrepit, old-ass lady in a wheelchair, which I'm not shaming you for being in a wheelchair, but this lady is 82 years old. Well, then again, we do have a couple of... There needs to be term limits. But anyway, she is... this renowned psychologist named Dorothy Lewis.
Okay.
There's a documentary on HBO called Crazy Not Insane. And apparently she is the one who is like, I guess it's her findings, and that's what the documentary is based on.
Mm-hmm.
She's determining that a person is crazy, not insane. But she is like... Dorothy Lewis reminds us a lot of Letitia.
Oh.
So they're 2 peas in a pod.
So she's like, if this bitch is crazy, then I'm crazy.
Yeah. And so it's almost like she tries to protect her in a way. And she's like defending her. And it's weird because it's like, obviously she's faking this and making this up. And I don't know why you're trying to be on her side and it's like she's very narcissistic as well. Like Letitia is, and so is this lady. Like this lady was, I mean, I'm late to things, but she was very late to everything. She was just like, you're running on my time. You're running on my schedule. This is what I said. She like didn't turn over certain things to the attorneys, and she said she did.
Was she black?
No, she's an old white lady in a wheelchair, and she's late. And her son, this is part of the trial. Her son shows up because he's like obviously like
smelling like weed.
Yes. Did you know?
I think he told us.
Oh, well, he showed up smelling like weed, they had to make an announcement to the courtroom, and they ended up seeing him in the hallway smoking weed in the courtroom, inside the courthouse, in the hallway.
Wow.
And they had to be like, they had to make this live announcement. Like, we told you not to smoke in this house, like courthouse. You can't smoke cigarettes. You can't smoke weed. You can't do anything in the courthouse. You knew that. We saw you did it. We know who you are. If you do it again, you're not allowed in the courthouse.
Just hood rat.
And this is this lady's son.
Just
this psychologist doctor's son. Oh. Anyway.
So she said she's insane or not insane.
She says that, yes, that
she has DID.
So she remembers. Okay, I do have a video. I think I do have a video. I'm videoing it up today. She is. I'll kind of narrate this as it goes because it's hard to hear it. But this is a couple of her personalities coming out to the doctor. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If someone is trying to hurt people, I'm going to make sure they're okay. Because that is what I do each and every time. I'm going to always make sure that people are going to be okay. So I don't look. Could you just
Could you sign your name, she says.
understand why I'm always being asked what is going on in here? Because this is my job to do things for people and to protect them. Because it's what I have to do. That is who are the protector. I'm going to always do that because it.
Okay, so Letitia's saying that she's the protector and she always has to be the protector. And the doctor is like, who's the protector? What does the protector do? Because this is Maria.
She's protecting
Maria
Letitia.
is the protector.
People are thinking and people are hurting kids. And if people are inside your home or inside my home, I'm going to protect them. Do you understand that? I spoke with someone who said, I protect them. I protect them.
Okay, you can't hear what this lady's saying because she's like literally decrepit. She says, I spoke to you, someone who said I protected them. I protected them. I always protected them.
Always protect them. I don't do anything. Oh, sorry.
Okay, now Letitia's back.
Oh, I don't know. I just think who is the protection? Oh, sorry. I don't get it. I was saying sorry.
So she's saying sorry because the psychologist is like, I don't understand. What are you sorry about? And then the psychologist is like, I don't get it. And then Letitia's like, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm back.
Oh, I'm back. That was Maria. Okay. Okay.
I don't know what we were talking about. We were talking about prisons, so I remember.
She pretends she doesn't know what they're talking about.
Who would be the protector?
Who would be the protector?
Oh, my protector is Maria.
Oh, Maria.
Maria is my protector.
Maria. I don't like very much to talk with you. If you want to talk to Maria, I don't know. Sometimes she'll talk. Sometimes she won't.
Okay, so
Oh my goodness.
while also during the trial, there's the different days she wears her hair like Tisha.
Differently.
She one time wore it up on top of her head with two long straight pieces like coming down in front.
Mm-hmm.
She's wore it on the side. She's wore it ring style in the front of her face, covering her whole face. And every time she had a different style, it was like her different personality. So she's really playing it up. She was really playing it up.
Wow.
So she has been, after all of all this, this is what is her defense. Dissociative identity disorder, which we talked about. And she's also claiming too that these various identities take control of her behavior, and this causes memory loss, delusions, depression, and that you can present unique challenges for both investigators and the system because it complicates how you determine guilt. So it's very hard to, I think, prove because she's saying that she's insane, but it's obviously nobody bought it. Nobody bought it except for that 80-year-old lady. And so it's saying that you don't have conscious awareness of what you're doing, or you don't remember what you did. And so this is their defense strategy, but
yeah,
it's a different standard of guilt, because then, like, if you're not proved, you just feel like it's a waste if you are like insane and you just go to like a sane asylum or whatever. So do you want to know what happened to Gannon?
Yes. How did Gannon die?
So she has this, she had this very large suitcase. And what she did was stabbed him 18 times.
And where was she?
At the house.
Okay.
And she just
Did she end up confessing this?
Yes.
As Maria, or?
She says that she doesn't have, what did she say? She said that I might have it clipped, but she was saying that, I think that Maria did it, and that she realized that Maria did it because she talked about how, oh gosh, there's so much stuff. She says how Gannon was, there's a whole video of a truck, her truck gets backed into the garage, and this comes into play at the trial.
Because the neighbor has video.
Has video, and they're like, we never saw him get out of the truck. And she was like, well, that's because Lena helped carry him, and you didn't see him getting in and out of the truck. She had to help carry him, and he must have already been gone by then. And I remember him taking his last breath. And I remember what it sounded like, because that's what it sounded like when my grandpa took his last breath.
Oh, gosh.
But I'm like, no, you didn't, because none of that is even true, because what she did was stabbed him 18 times, then she knocked him out, and then she shot him twice.
Oh, God. Whose gun?
She had a gun. Oh. She had a gun. And...
So the blood in the garage, was there ever blood?
Well, it was blood in the
basement.
In the basement because of the stabbings, but she said it was because of his burns, and that's why there was blood on the wall, because of his burns.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
and she ends up saying this on stand, or
it all comes out in the conversations with either the doctor, with the investigator, or with Al.
Okay.
Because there's so many.
Because she just couldn't shut
up.
He
had so many conversations he recorded.
And did she ever say why? She just felt.
If someone is trying to hurt people.
Oh, that was the one I did. Yes. Hang on. I didn't want to have to play this, but because it's kind of hard to hear, but it is her confession.
They can think what they want, whatever about me. I never was purposely hurt Gannon or hurt anyone that I would have thought it would have been Gannon. Never in a million years, okay? Never. I've had these kids all over the country. If I was going to do something like that, it would be somewhere in another country. Like, come on, like, people want to kill people doing it because they want to take someone's life. That's not what happened. They paint me as this monster, and I did all these crazy things. I never once knew it was Gannon. I, in fact, didn't even know it was Gannon until later on. The reason I didn't is because Lena, I guess the noise woke Lena up. If you read the report, Lena told you that she helped carry Gannon's body. That report in her interview, she says on that Gannon's body's not moving. That's because she was there and she helped carry Gannon's body to the car. I couldn't get him up the stairs. I
I didn't even know it was Gannon at that time until I moved to Butler. I lose it. Like, I am all over the place, like, screaming, crying. That's how Lena hears me. Lena's helped me. Now, Harley's still asleep. She hasn't woke up to any of this. Harley's a hard sleeper. Lena helps me tote Gannon up the stairs. I'm throwing up, like, blood, the side of him. Like, I literally don't, Gannon is still alive. Gannon is barely talking. Okay? We try to get him up steps. We get out the garage, go to the car. And I blanked out. Because at this point, I think I was we were taking Gannon to the hospital. But I was on the passenger side, okay? Now my leg's bleeding, which if you look at the footage from the hospital, you can see where I got hit with a bullet. Okay? That's probably why there was a little bit of my blood on the car. So that's noise, and it reminds me of like when my grandpa died, he made like this noise. That was the noise I heard when I wake back up and I'm in the garage, in the car. Now we look at camera footage and my car does go out. 5 minutes, so leave the neighborhood. So what we put together is that it must have been when I went out in the car hearing the noise, that must have been when Gannon took his last breath, and I was still out of it. Go back in and park the car.
Really, bitch?
Oh my gosh. She brought it back to her.
Everything. So she's telling this to this interrogator, and they obviously nobody believes. Nobody believes it. She's demonstrated over and over that her actions, by her actions, that she does understand the difference between right and wrong, and she is fully aware of her actions, and the fact that she's concealed Gannon's body and went to all these lengths to hide evidence indicates her recognition of right and wrong. And if she hadn't realized what she did wrong, then she would have allowed him to she would have let him be found.
Yeah.
So, and to be carried, I love how she tried to blame Lana and not her own daughter. She's like, let's blame the other. Let me get this other kid, his other kid, in trouble too. Like, what? And the fact that she did the fake polygraph test and she tried to evade and escape, everything. It's very obvious to anybody who's watching it. So she ends up, I should have even got the judge had a very good final in speech to her. But she is in life.
Yeah.
Because they do not have the death penalty
in Colorado. Okay.
So she's there with
Chris Watts.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Life without parole. And you heard from the beginning of the episode what he asked for. And he asked for her last name to be stripped and for her to get all these years upon years, which she will never get out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about poor Harley. That's just awful. That poor girl. I don't know where she's going to end up.
She'll be able to live a normal life. This is a case, but it's not like a big case where people are never going to forget her face, right? Like, she'll be able to go to college in a couple years and not be recognized and, maybe change her. At least she wasn't Stalk or whatever it is. Poor Daddy Stalk, Al.
Mm-hmm.
She's always going to be searched and known as Leticia Stalk. It's not, we're never going to search and know Leticia, whatever her maiden name is.
Or whatever.
Yeah. It sucks, but it's just, she's always going to be associated with his last name.
The counts were first-degree murder of a child under 12 by a person in, God, that's the longest. First-degree murder of a child under 12 by a person in position of trust, tampering with physical evidence, and tampering with the deceased human and sentenced to 2 life sentences without
So she didn't chop him up to put him in the suitcase,
well,
right?
why did I think she chopped him up? She just stabbed him 18 times.
Okay.
I guess
she had to
I
crumple him up. 11 years old is that's big to put. It must have had to been a big suitcase.
Yeah.
We had to really like crunch him in to make him fit in there, I would think.
I just assumed he was chopped. Oh, well, that's good that he wasn't.
Oh, gosh.
I hate people. So there you go. Letitia Stalk is the devil on earth, but she's no longer roaming amongst us, and she is in prison.
Forever.
And
I wonder if she'll last long.
She gets multiple enemas at the same time, and maybe even a catheter.
I don't know what's worse, is killing a kid that's not yours or killing your kid.
I think
because this pisses me. I mean, any kid is horrible,
any kid is bad.
But like killing somebody else's kid, that's
like you're the one, like you're
taking somebody else's kid away. Like I don't know. But then this is horrible too, that my mind goes here. I would be so scared to remarry because Daddy still has Lainey, right? Mm-hmm. Lena. Mm-hmm. He's remarried and now he's trusting another woman with his kid. And he's probably still traveling off and leaving this kid with this woman. Like I would be.
I know. I mean, that's like quick remarriage.
It's too quick. So I think he needs to go to counseling behind that.
How was this lady? Why does she want to marry him? You're going through all this. You want to get involved with somebody while they're going through all of that? Because they weren't. I mean, this just happened in 2020, and they were married.
They were married when this was. Who was married?
Well, when did
Letitia?
They got married in 2015. They were together
in 2020
when this still happened.
And now it's 2023, and he's already remarried, and this wife is by his side.
Yes.
And so now Lainey has a new stepmama.
I know.
That is watching her.
Why is this lady, the new mom, why is the new wife, who wants to get involved in that when you're like, hey, oh, by the way, I'm in the middle of a murder trial. My son just got murdered, and it's by a stepmom. And do you want to go?
She's probably a nurse.
Do you want to go have steak? Like, do you want to go get some wine? Like, I'm like, well, actually, if it was me, I probably will run to the red flags, like we've already discussed. So, I don't think I want to deal with that. Not doing it.
And it's probably a single daddy is like, oh, great, yes, I do need help with the kids. Like, that's probably why he was like, great, yes, Letitia, I'll marry you. Oh, yes, yeah. I do need a mama for these kids. I have to travel a lot. Great. But, man, to do it again, no. Do like Dr. Laura Schlesinger says, and you stay single till your kid is 18 and out that house because you've done it once. You've done it twice and it didn't work. You married a crackhead. It didn't work. You married a sociopath. She killed your kid. It didn't work. And now you just need to be single.
Now you married the nurse.
It's probably a nurse that's going to poison your kid.
Yeah, and we're going to have to do the nurse's story next time.
Oh, it's horrible. But that's where my mind goes. I do think there's something wrong with that. Sorry, y'all. This is the Truth Podcast. This week, talk about it. Hey, Suzanne. All right, we're done. Register for the live show. We'll see y'all next week with a new Quickie and a new story. Who knows where we're going? Don't forget to
stay where?
Stay alive.
OSBGTF.
Bye, y'all. Yeah, he shouldn't get married. He's about to lose Lainey, too.